Hey guys, got something really interesting for you today. I was out at Woodhill Mountain Bike Park in Auckland just recently, and they were having a Mondraker demo day, and the locals were checking out some e-bikes. They had some crafties, they had some levels, and they even had a few of those newfangled non-motorized mountain bikes out there as well. But I spied something and I got my eye on something just a little bit different, and this one here is the Dune RR. Now, if you've been looking at mountain bikes, you're thinking, it's time for me to get an e-bike. It can be a little bit confusing. You've got on this side, you've got your high-fat, full-fat e-bikes, big motors, big batteries, weigh around 25 kilos upwards sometimes. And then on the other side, you've got your lightweight e-bikes, your small, less powerful motors, smaller batteries, lighter bikes. This, they're calling a hybrid or a mid-powered bike. So what actually powers this thing? Okay, so it comes with the Bosch motor, but not the Bosch CX motor. It comes with the new SX motor. The thing is smaller, it's lighter, it's quieter, it claims 50% less resistance to pedaling. It's got 55 Newton meters, so compare that with the 85 Newton meters of the CX motor. But this is the interesting bit. It still will put out 600 watts peak power, which is the same as the CX motor. You do have to put a lot more cadence in to get that 600 watts, but you can get it, which is pretty cool. Comes with a 400 watt hour internal battery. You can't pop the battery out. There are pros and cons to that. Most people, in all honesty, tend to just take the bike home and just plug it in their garage, so that's not an issue. The advantage to doing that is that you can make a frame that is lighter and stronger by not having a battery that pops in and out. Talking of weight, this thing I think comes in around 19.5, 20 kilos around there somewhere. So you're saving 5 or 6 kilos off of many of the sort of, full fat e-bikes. And this is no short travel bike. This is a 170, 165, so it's a big rig. You can also get a range extender that goes in here, 250 watt hour range extender. So that'd give you a reasonably large battery if you did that. And but spoiler alert, I would probably, if I was buying this bike personally, I would probably buy the range extender with it. You can also, it's quite a big triangle at the front here, you can actually get a water bottle and the range extender on there. It's got room here for, you can put a normal bottle, but actually it's designed to take the fidlock system in here, so that would be pretty cool. So what else does this bike come with? This bike has some pretty cool stuff on it. It's a pretty high-end bike, to be fair. It's got a GX Axis wireless drivetrain, worked absolutely faultless throughout the video. It's got some Code stealth brakes, again, worked flawlessly throughout the rides. I think the levers look really badass, like them, like the reach adjustment, got them just how I wanted them. Some E13 wheels, some nice Maxxis tyres. It's got a dropper post, of course it's got a dropper post, but I had to look this one up on my phone actually. It's a Pija, P-I-J-A. The thing that's cool about this dropper post though is you can adjust it from a 150 to a 180 travel. You think, well, surely you just want 180, but if you've got short legs and you can't fit the whole 180 and still make it work, you can make it shorter with just a very simple adjustment. So that's pretty cool. Probably the big star of the show on this bike though is the suspension. The Öhlins front and back, I say 170, 165. Now, Mondraker has what they call a zero suspension platform. I think that's what they call it. I had to really think about this, but the shock gets compressed from both ends. And that's supposed to effectively make better pedaling efficiency, better small bump compliance, and I guess better performance overall. Luckily Mondraker, because there is a lot of adjustability to this bike in terms of the suspension, and Mondraker do have charts and things like that, and so they set the bike up. I said, just set it up for my weight and I'll go from there. But the fork's quite interesting. You add air in at the top here, and you think, of course you add air at the top, but you can also have another chamber and you add separate air in the bottom chamber, and that kind of does the same thing as adding tokens. So instead of having to add tokens to this bike, you can adjust the air in the lower chamber. And I must admit, the suspension on this thing was really quite impressive. In terms of displays and things, it comes with a Kiox 500 at the top here. It's a pretty big old display on this thing. Personally, Personally, I think I'd probably take it off if it was me. And you can take it off very easily. You've got a nice little stealth controller here. I like that. It's got a battery indicator here. And I'd probably just, if it was me, just run the bike like that. At the end of the day, it is supposed to be a sort of lightweight, simple bike. The funny thing is with these things, though, is when I arrived at the car park, a friend came up to me and goes, "Whoa, look at that screen. That's so cool. I really like that." So, yeah, I guess if you want to ride around the trails looking at best day ever videos while you're on the screen, or maybe maps instead, then some people will absolutely love this big screen on here. So it's horses for courses, I guess. But anyway, yeah, it's a pretty cool bike. All right, I think it's time to take this thing out for a ride. I guess there's a few things that I want to know about this bike for me. You know, I guess you're always thinking, would I buy this bike? So what I want to know is, can I go out on a Sunday with my friends, do my normal ride? Can I keep up with them on their full fat bikes? Can I do the whole loop and not run out of battery? And I guess the other thing is, how much fun do I have? So anyway, let's get into that. All right, so we're into our normal Sunday ride with all the crew. And the plan is to see whether I can do a normal ride. I'll try all the modes, but I won't go super eco all day or anything stupid. And can I ride the whole way around, not get range anxiety or have to come back early? Can I keep up? And I guess the other one is, do I have fun? Okay, so when we come to Woodhill, the first run in the morning is always how good. See how this thing jumps? Oh yeah, it's pretty poppy. Where is he going? Woo! This is always a nice way to start the morning. Hip it into there. Bit of a pop. She does feel light. Oh yeah, I think I like it. Woo! Oh, that's all right. We'll take that for a first run on the bike. All right, well, I've done a couple of tracks, and so far I'm managing to keep up. I've actually been trying it in auto mode, which, from my understanding, it kind of tries to keep the workload about the same. So if it gets steeper, you get a little bit more power. If it gets easier, you get a little less power. If my understanding is correct, rather than EMTB, which the more power you put in, the more you get back. So we're keeping up with Zach anyway. It's actually, when you put the cadence in, it's definitely zesty. It's not like one of those low powered where you really notice it. When you give it a bit of a kick, it will actually go. So as you can see, I'm keeping up with a full fat rider and on a full fat bike. That's a bit harsh. Sorry, mate.
Not really.
Oh, he's in tour and I'm in auto, so I must admit, the suspension, the zero suspension platform, is supposed to give a very efficient pedaling platform, and I think I can feel that. It does feel really nice just pedaling along this sort of undulating terrain. I need to test out without the motor on at all, but it feels quite nice to pedal. All right, a little bit of funny flowy bits. I must admit, certainly getting more of a workout. It's kind of a cool day. Took my jacket off pretty quick, so I'm certainly warmed up. And I'd say this bike feels a lot more like riding a normal bike. You just feel fitter than a normal person, or well, a normal me anyway. Oh, nice, mate. It's quite easy to skip this thing around though. It definitely feels lighter than the full fat version. Now, if you think our rides are involved doing 100 kilometers and whatnot, they're not. Most of it involves talking, so not worried about range when we're talking, but anyway, we'll see how we go.
right, bit of drop zone. Does it do skinnies? Yes. Does it do drops? Yes. All right, the secret of this is to drop right off the top, double that, jump off of that, double that. She is really quite playful. I'm quite enjoying getting the hang of it. Only small stuff so far. Okay, side of fries, bit of double black jump trail. Was a bit nervous on the first run. Bit better. That's better. Oh, a little bit slow. We've been quite light. Not too hard to just get a bit of pop. And straight up the wall. Nice. Alright, this is one of my favourite trails that's still left in the forest because most of the good ones have been cut down. It's called Shed the Poodle. Bit of tech, not that steep. Unfortunately the Woodhill doesn't really have super steep, but it's good fun. I'm actually having to start to really, it took me a little while on this bike, but I'm really starting to enjoy it now. Feel like you can throw the thing around a bit. Little hip jump over here. Little pinch climb, but as you can see, I'm actually keeping up. It does seem to, I'm certainly not, I feel like I still get a little bit harder for it, but I'm definitely keeping up. This is the core bit of a rowdy drop, and then just jump. Some of the kids jump to the bottom there. I'm not that brave. And then pop it about. Woo. Oh yeah. Woo. I'm trying not to puff because it always sounds terrible on the audio, but I'm puffing. I'm definitely working. All right, first uphill test on this thing. Normally I do stitch up, but that's being logged at the moment, so this will have to be the next best thing. I've been riding in auto all the way, but I'm going to try EMTB for a while. Hope it doesn't suck through too much battery, but have not been disappointed with the power output. If you get the leg spinning, the thing actually really gives you a feel like it's going to take off, which is really kind of cool. All right, I'm going to use turbo for a little bit, not too long. It's actually quite zesty. It's definitely less than the CX motor, but it does feel, as I say, it's certainly got more power than some of the other low power bikes I've ridden. As you say, no trouble keeping up with these guys. I think you do need to use your gears a bit more, a bit like riding a normal bike, to be fair. Often we're guilty on full fat e-bikes of hardly ever changing gear, but this really encourages you to use your gears. In fact, it'll even say on the screen sometimes to change down, which I think is quite funny. Okay, dropped it back to auto just to conserve a bit of battery, and yeah, I've got dropped and I'm puffing hard. But yeah, for people who want a bit of assistance and still want a really good workout, you could definitely do that on this bike. But it's still, yeah, when you need the power and put a good cadence in, it will kick on. I do actually like it. Interestingly, looking at this, Eco got a range of 5, Auto have a range of 5, EMTB 3 and Turbo 2. So Auto I've noticed the whole way the range has been higher than Eco. All right, I think I've actually turned this thing off. I'm going to try riding with it out off. Now, funny enough, I've talked to some kids recently who don't really understand that on an e-bike, when you're going downhill, most of the time it's off anyway, but there'll be a bit of pedaling in here, like this here, and yeah, she actually pedals quite nice off. Let's see if I can catch them. Might be a bit of a push. All right, so pedaling with it off, a little bit of work. Not too bad though, probably about the same as a normal bike really. All right, 24.5 Ks, only got 16% left. Been riding in auto most of the day. This is a relatively steep climb, but as I say, it actually does kick out a bit of power when you need it. Might get a couple of laps at How Good or Aviator to finish. Alrighty, bit of Aviator. Let's see how we do, eh? Alright, it's a bit better. Alright, it's a little slow. It's a little slow, but we did it.
Right, well done. You done?
No, we're still... One thing that amazes me, we're on 1% and it's still working. 29.7, we got to make the 30, eh? Says 0 now, how does that work?
It's like a petrol tank,
Yeah, it's got a little bit in the bottom of the tank still. Okay, that's officially dead. Okay, so should never say it's the last run, but it really is, because I've got no battery at all, and so I guess we're going to ride it like a full-on steamer. Way. To be fair, most of these tracks, you're going that fast, the motor's not going anyway, so it really makes no difference.
Okay, so what did we think? Well, let's start with a little bit of housekeeping first. A couple of little tiny things. One, the charging point here isn't, I think, in a much better place than the last bike, than the level I reviewed. It's also got a nice little cover for it. I really like that. It's got little mud guards down here that really protect that Olin shock. And to me, I don't know why all bikes don't have that. It seems like an absolute no-brainer. Really tidy, really like that. Also, lots of frame protection here for old chain slap and things like that. Really like that as well. The motor on this bike, I actually really was impressed by this motor. I must admit, some of the low-powered motors, I really haven't liked them. This I really liked. If you pedal with a reasonable amount of cadence, it will definitely give you the power, and it has a very natural feel to it. If you've ever ridden some of the full fat bikes, you put them in turbo, it's a very unnatural feel. I must admit, I really like. I'm not saying it's bad, I like it, but yeah, the front wheel wants to throw up in the air, and you've got loads of power and things like this. This is a much more natural, feels like riding a normal bike. It just feels that maybe you're a little bit more fitter than you actually are. Did I get range anxiety with this bike? Well, hell yes. We did 30 Ks, which is about a typical ride for us, and I only got there by the skin of my teeth. In fact, that was really weird. I was actually still riding this thing with power coming in at 0%, which is quite unusual. I know you're not really supposed to ride them flat. You're certainly not supposed to leave them flat, but anyway, it charged up. I've charged up, no problem at all. So I think this bike is good for people, one, who really like a light bike, like to play around. They don't like the feel of the full fat bike. They want something that's just a little bit lighter, a little bit more playful, and feels more natural to ride maybe. This would be really good if you've got kids and they're outgunning you now and you just need a little bit of help. This may be the bike for you. I've really enjoyed riding this. In fact, I might even take it out again today and have another play on it. It is a really fun bike to ride. I hope you found this review somewhat helpful. If you have, I'd love it if you subscribe and join the team. If not, just I'll whack the old like button. And I love hearing your comments, and I try and reply to all of them where possible. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one.